Welcome to EnVision Center News. Today's episode is all about Sandpoint area seniors with Executive Director Cherie Coldwell. We hope you enjoy. Welcome to EnVision Center News. My name is Sarah Hensel, and I am the Resource Coordinator for the Community Resource EnVision Center. And today's special guest I have with me, Cherie Coldwell. She is the Executive Director of Sandpoint Area Seniors, and we are so glad to have you today, Cherie.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
We are just kind of going to go into it. I first like to start off with just knowing a little bit more about you so the audience can know who you are and get familiar with you. Mm-hmm. So are you originally from North Idaho, or did you relocate from somewhere else?
I relocated for some. That's a loaded question for me.
Yeah.
I'm an Air Force brat, and I spent 10 years on active duty as well. So when people ask me where I'm from, I'm like, pick a year. Pick a year or everywhere. So yes, I'm not originally from North Idaho, and I moved here from Pennsylvania. I had been living there after I exited the Air Force for about 15 years, working as a pediatric nurse. And then I decided that my dog and I needed to take the show on the road, so I bought an RV and we traveled around the country for 7 months and had a blast. Oh my goodness.
Serious?
Oh, it was so much fun. And while I was staying at Yellowstone, getting ready to go to Spokane to visit my cousin, who happened to be an ICU nurse over at Sacred Heart, a couple of Air Force friends of mine that had just retired from Mountain Home and moved to Sandpoint saw, on Facebook, they were like, "You have to stop and visit us." And so I made a pit stop here, and 1 week turned into 2 weeks, and I'm like, okay, this place is awesome. And of course, this is right around the time of the festival, so how could you not?
Yeah.
So when I started looking for work, this was one of the places I had on my rotation, and it just happened to be the one that gave me my first offer, so I jumped all over it.
Oh man, that's an awesome story, and I think we kind of bonded a little bit with the military brat thing going on, because my dad was Marine Corps, but you were actually in the Air Force. So
I was for 10 years.
That's awesome. Thank you for your service, by the way. So, what do you love the most about this area?
There is something to do year-round.
Totally.
And if you don't feel like doing it, there's plenty to do indoors. That's not outdoors and freezing. And there's just so much to see and do here. And what really impressed me was just how great the arts and music culture are. There's so many talented people in such a small town. And I don't mean just artists and musicians. I also mean cooks, because there's some great restaurants in this town. And I love to eat, so, it's all good.
Do you have any favorite restaurants?
Oh, yes. I really love Beet and Basil.
Oh, yeah,
so I was kind of sad when they had to close down, but I'm ready for them to open up again. There's just so many. Arlo's, Ivano's.
I know. It's
McDuff's has the best pub food. I think one of the best burgers I've ever had comes from the Hydra, so I'm going to be really sad when they close that down.
I know. Yeah, no, there's plenty of good places to eat around here. We learned that very quickly as well.
Yes, and so did my waistline.
Okay, I don't believe that. You're a skinny little thing. Okay, so you recently became the executive director, but you were actually there doing something else before. Did you shadow someone, or did you just step into the executive director role when you came here?
Well, they hired me on as the executive assistant and the grant writer, and I think that was kind of an audition to see how, basically verifying my bona fides and making sure that, I can accomplish the things that they needed for an executive director. So I did that for about 7 months, and then February of last year, I think it was, they offered me the position of ED.
Nice.
So, yay.
Nice. Well, you fit perfectly in that role. I think you do a fantastic job.
Thank you.
So is there a specific reason why you chose to work with seniors specifically? Is that something that was ever in your background?
Well, when I was in the Air Force, I was a medic. I mostly worked in the ER, so I worked with pretty much every demographic. Okay. And we did have a large population of retirees that lived in southern Idaho, because I was stationed in Utah for the most part. So, we took care of a lot of seniors between my assignment there and my assignment at Travis Air Force Base in California. So it wasn't something specific. It was more about, just the grant writing and, just being the director. And it was something that kind of was a bit of a lateral move from me.
Sure.
I was the after-school program director for Priest River High School and their grant writer there. So it was just kind of a lateral move with slightly older people.
It's like you went from the younger generation to the older generation.
I did.
That's cool. So what is the thing you enjoy most about working with seniors?
I learn so much, every day, and they always have the most interesting stories. And I'm a bit of a history buff, so anytime they can share their experiences and what they remembered, especially during, significant events in history, it's always a great experience. And in fact, we're going to be partnering with Heather Upton over at the Bonner County Historical Society to start doing an oral histories project with all of our seniors here. So I think, it's just they have some great stories to share, and for the most part, they're just a great group of folks.
I agree. I actually have a great grandmother that just turned 98. Shout out to Great Granny.
That's awesome.
And she has some of the best stories, especially her, being born in 1924, just going through World War II and all that. And yeah, it's so cool to listen to those stories and have that history with us still.
Absolutely. So, we just had a senior turn 100 on Monday, and
it's
been a fun party. our center is still decorated with all the balloons and streamers and everything, but it's just amazing. And just sit there and talk to him, and I got to interview him for the newsletter. It's just fascinating. I'm like, you were born the last major worldwide pandemic. You were a baby at the time. So it's fascinating to see, and here we are, he's experiencing yet again.
No kidding. And just everything in between. I mean, it's incredible to me too. So I know the Sandpoint area seniors is the go-to place for support services concerning seniors, and you guys just really have a pulse for seniors, what's going on in the area, things that they need. And I even remember when tax time came around that you were assisting with taxes too, which was really cool. I didn't know that you guys did that.
Yeah, that's a program through AARP. They have volunteer tax preparers that come down and they set up shop at different senior centers. We weren't the only ones. Coeur d'Alene was doing it as well, if I remember correctly. So it's just a wonderful service and a great partnership to have, especially because so many of our seniors, as you know, are on a fixed income, and most places charge $200 to prepare your taxes. And it's just when you're living on that sort of a fixed income, every penny counts. So having to pay somebody $200 to do your taxes is just, that's grocery money for almost 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I'm really glad that you guys provide that, because I think we even had some clients, we were like, go there, get your taxes done here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So but I know one of the main things you guys do is provide meals for the seniors. So can you tell us a little bit about the meals that you guys serve and what the meal times are?
Sure. We have both congregate and home delivered meals. We don't have a Meals on Wheels franchise. We have our own version of that. It's just called the Home Delivered Meals Program.
Nice.
And so we provide meals for 7 days a week, even though we're only open for 5 days.
Wow.
So what we do is every day we have a fixed menu, and you can certainly find that on our website, sandpointareaseniors.org.
Okay.
But we have a fixed menu, so you can go on and see what meals we're going to be having for that day and plan accordingly. If it's something you like, you can just give us a call and reserve your spot. But we have 2 servings because we have to get our home delivered meals out at 10:30 for those folks at home.
Okay.
And then we have a second seating. Well, I guess it's the first seating, but it's the second round of meals for us at 11:30, where we serve our congregate diners, and we do lunch for them Monday through Thursday, and on Fridays we do breakfast.
Oh, nice.
The home delivered folks will still get a hot lunch, usually something different, but the folks that come in on Fridays get breakfast.
Oh man, no wonder you're cooking so much.
And tomorrow is biscuits and gravy day. It's my favorite.
That's awesome. So do these meals cost anything at all to anybody?
Well, if you're a senior, 60 or over, the suggested donation is $5 if you can afford it. We never ask you to pay. We never solicit for payment, and that's for same for our folks at home. We even have a little screen set up around our, payment area so that, we don't want any senior to feel pressured to put any amount in. It's whatever they can afford. And if you're not 60, then the cost is $8. But you get a lot of food for $8. You also, you don't get just the entree. You also get a dessert and a salad that goes with it as well. And all the drinks are included, so you can have as much coffee, tea, water, juice, whatever, milk.
That's a good deal.
It's a very good deal. And we have a lot of non-seniors that like to join us. They'll come and have lunch with their, elderly father or mom, or they'll bring a grandchild along or a great-grandchild along for a meal. And it's a great atmosphere to be able to come in and sit down and dine in with us.
Yeah, very much like a community bonding moment or family time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you kind of went over the meal deliveries, and do you have drivers that you send out specifically that do that?
We do. We have volunteer drivers because we cover a large part of Bonner County. Believe it or not, we deliver all the way to Priest River as well as Sago, Kokolala, down on that end. Because of the distance for those folks, we can only deliver to them once a week, and so they usually get just all frozen meals. So depending, and some of them are only 3 or 4 days, but most of them do take all 7 meals. So we're cooking multiple meals throughout the day. We have what's on the menu, and then we usually have to do 1 or 2 freezer meals to keep the freezers stocked for the weekends and holidays.
You guys are hard workers. So I'm curious, just for my Clark Fork people out there, do you guys deliver to Clark Fork at all?
No, we used to, but Clark Fork has their own senior center, and they have
that's true.
Yeah,
that's
they
right.
do their own meals, and I believe they do home delivered meals there as well.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, but we used to. That was a hike. Yeah,
I was about to say that's a long drive. So another great thing about Sandpoint area seniors is that you guys provide social, recreational, wellness programs, and those are really beneficial to this community, especially after COVID happened. Those were pretty existential. So can you tell us kind of what social events you guys have going on now?
Oh, absolutely. We have an activities calendar that's also posted on the website, so you're welcome to go and take a look. Most of the things stay the same week to week. So like every Monday, we have Bunko at 12:30.
What is that? I'm curious.
Bunko is a dice game. It's kind of like Rummy and Yahtzee, and I'm not real familiar with the rules, but just kind of watching them play and passing, it looks similar to that style game. It's a dice game. Tuesdays we have bridge, also at 12:30, and